If you're listening on any day of the week, which is not a Monday, ladies and gentlemen, you're doing it wrong because we're live on Twitch and YouTube as we are every Monday night at 8 p.m. My name is Tommaso Dami and I'm joined by
Rory. Hello, guys. Good to be back Monday evening after a pretty hectic weekend. I think it was good to have club football back, right, Tommy? Oh, well, maybe you disagree with the results, but was it good to have club football back?
No, it was beautiful. Just before we start, remember the usual spam. Follow us on Instagram at Anglo-Italian Pod. Follow us on Twitter at Italian Anglo Pod, and follow also our sponsor at Sports Club Maps. You can find them on Twitter, Instagram, and you can check out their website and make sure to cop one or two of their incredible products featuring Sports Club Maps from all over the world. Rory, club football is great to have back, but how was your weekend? How much have you watched, actually?
Hello? Was that me or you?
I was asking you, yeah.
My weekend was good. Lots of football. Managed to squeeze in a little bit more sunshine in the park. It was like weirdly warm this weekend, which was quite nice. But yeah, lots of football watched. And we're not finished yet. Arsenal play tonight. So hence the background, the shirt, everything Arsenal. Positive vibes only. How was your weekend, Tommy?
My weekend was pretty good. It kicked off on Friday with me getting a ridiculous tattoo that I'm very proud of. Mr. Eric Cartman is now inked on my thigh. Then we had a pretty good night on Friday night. Yeah, we went out for drinks.
We did. It was a late one. I think I got back at like 4:00. Saturday was a slow day. Let's say that.
Yeah, and then there was of course the Inter Milan game on Saturday, which we'll talk about very soon. And then I feel like I kind of took it chill, cleaned my car, celebrated my dad's birthday. But Rory, I just wanted to give a shout out to all these incredible people that have started following us out of nowhere on Instagram. Their names, I'm just going to shout out to them: Brandon Garrett, Emma Winter, Eileen Chang, 50, UJ Web PRQTEOTB. This is to say, Rory, that
I know them. I think I know him. He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
They're all girls. This is the incredible thing, Rory. They're all girls, and they all follow our page.
Finally getting the attention we deserve, Tommy. Finally,
you know what? They usually follow only one page, and it's always us, dude. It's incredible. We've got an incredibly strong female fan base all over social media. But enough with the bullshit. Not really, because we have a bunch from around the world, and I would start from Paris, Rory, where the rosiest marriage of them all might be in danger. What's going on? You wanna report what happened over the weekend?
Say it ain't so, please. Can we handle the split of Wanda and Mauro? Two people, I was saying to Tommy just before we press record, who I can't think of two people who deserve each other more, and two people who, you know, that story of like the frog and the scorpion. Like the frog takes a scorpion across the river and he's like, I won't sting you. Then he stings him. He's like, why did you sting me? Because I'm a scorpion. If you are in a relationship with either of these people, they're going to cheat on you or they're going to be twats. It's just what they are.
Well, the funny thing that I thought when I saw Vandanara's post on Instagram saying another family ruined by a whore, I just thought, who are you referring to, Wanda?
What have you done now, Wanda? What have you done?
Exactly, that's my first thought. But then I loved even more her clapping back at Icardi, posting a picture of her today after the storm, trying to fix things. And she posts a picture of her hand without the wedding ring, saying, I kind of like my hand without the wedding ring. It's just like, fucking kids, dude.
Yeah,
fucking
just
kids
children
with loads of money. And imagine that these people are raising children. That's an incredible thing. Wanda Nara and Mauro Icardi are parents, and they are acting like 4-year-olds on social media. It's beautiful to see. We all expected it to happen at some point. I didn't think so soon, but we will see what will happen next. Also, because she's his agent, and I feel like he's in desperate need of a good agent. So we shall see what happens.
I think I saw a thing over the weekend and said, can you think of a more Newcastle player at the moment than Mauro Icardi?
Ooh,
Can you imagine him
All
more
of a
like
sudden, I can see it. I can see it. I
like,
hadn't thought about
his
it, but
career's on the way down. She leaves him. He's a bit depressed. He's going to cost a bit of money. He's a big name. Bring him in. I can definitely see him playing at St. James's Park. I would just warn them, honestly. I think you'd be better off without him because I said it to Tommy the entire time when he was at Inter, even when Icardi was scoring winners in the Milan derby. I was like, he's a good player, but is he worth the hassle? I don't know if he's worth the hassle.
And another funny news before we dive into the footballing weekend that really made me giggle and half of Italy as well. Conor McGregor was in Italy to baptize his son, and he threw a big party at a hotel in Rome, and there were a lot of celebrities, Italian celebrities especially, including Mr. DJ Francesco, who is not a DJ and is a lame ass singer, and I guess like mixer, I guess at some parties,
I think
vocalist.
singer is quite a kind term. It just
Yeah,
seemed in the song that you showed me, he was just kind of shouting to a
he
rhythm, was what it sounded like.
he became very popular probably around 2002 2003, and he got punched square in the face by drunk Conor McGregor at this party. And if you know, I know this is awful, I know that Conor shouldn't go around punching people in the face, but if you know who DJ Francesco is, you can type his name on Google. Trust me, he has got a very punchable face, and this story is just very funny. Loved it.
He kind of reminded me of, for another kind of niche English reference, he looks a bit like Right Said Fred or the guy from Tiesto. He looks a bit like Tiesto. Is it Tiesto?
Oh,
No. The one
I
who
don't
did
know.
Scooter. He looks like the guy from Scooter. Anyway,
I have no idea who that is, but I don't know.
yeah,
All of Italy
dance
love the
group.
story, and it's just funny. This guy is super lame, and right now he's trying to like reclaim his spot on social media by like posting stories about how his lip is doing. But yeah, it was very funny. Rory, do you have any funny news from the sporting world around the world?
Well, I was just going to say about Conor McGregor, and here's a South Park reference for you, Tommy. It's probably my one South Park reference.
Go for
There's
it.
an episode, I don't know when it is, when Russell Crowe is going around the world fighting everything,
Oh,
right? And I
singing
feel
and
like that's
fighting
what
around the world.
yeah, I think that's what Conor McGregor's doing, like a world tour, just fighting
Whoops. I
blokes.
think you
He's having a bit of a freak out, is Conor.
Yeah. Definitely. That is a great episode, by the way. Very good reference, Rory. But shall we dive into the episode? There is a lot to talk about. Actually, before the biggest news of them all, we're going to cover it in detail later. But tomorrow night, Rory Criscuolo and I and the three other lucky friends, we're all going to see Inter Sheriff. I'll say later how I'm feeling about it. But shall we start from Serie A, Rory?
Let's do it.
Well, where should we start from? Shall we start from Napoli? Let's start from Napoli. Napoli still perfect, undefeated in Serie A, 8 wins out of 8 games. Insigne, however, is my first talking point as he misses the 3rd penalty out of the 4 he was given so far this season. Now, Rory, when you've got a player like Osimhen who keeps banging in goal after goal, wouldn't you do a little switcheroo maybe?
Yeah, I think now is maybe the time, but I feel like with Insigne, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because he's such a talisman for that team, and he's the captain, right?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I feel like because he's such a talisman, they'd be a bit more like reticent to take it off him, which I think is fair. But when your record is getting that bad and it almost feels like you're expecting him to miss penalties at this point, I think it's time to just take him off for a bit. It doesn't even have to be permanently. Just say, look, the next few we're going to give to someone else, and then when you're ready or when we think you're ready, we'll put you back on penalties. Look, they're very fortunate because it was a 1-0 win. Osimhen is unstoppable at the moment, but that could have easily cost them a kind of their 100% record. And with the way that other teams are slipping up or either slipping up or getting those wins, Napoli are going to need every win they can get before January. We've talked about it before with AFCON. They need these wins while they can get them. So I think that was a huge moment. But for Osimhen, what is the ceiling for this guy? I cannot believe how good he is.
It's definitely very high, seeing how much he jumped to put that loose ball inside the net. I posted it on Instagram this morning. It was a great picture from an Italian Instagram page that just said "Good morning, everybody," and there was Osimhen's face, like outside, coming in, like with the rays of the sun coming out of the clouds. He wants it, man. He wants it really badly. He said that that's the most important goal of his career thus far. He said it was very important to keep the momentum going, that he was really looking for it. But man, Napoli, again, the funny thing about Napoli is that they miss a lot of chances.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
they think if they, it's not something that they need to fix they should lose their sleep over this, because they are also very solid defensively, but they
Hmm.
keep missing chances. Lozano yesterday he hit the post once. There were a few opportunities for Osimhen, one from way out, but he missed it, and then a very clear cut one that he missed again. But yeah, I think if they become a little more cynical, they could really feel unstoppable. But hopefully they wore that jersey only this week, because it was kind of awful. Did you
Oh,
see
did
that?
you not like it? I quite like it.
Nah, the
I quite like it. I think
Halloween.
it's obviously a massive market employ to get more money out of their fans, and a part of me obviously hates that. But then I was like, that's a pretty drippy shirt, though. I'd definitely buy it. It's a cool shirt, man.
I read a very funny post that said the Napoli have a new design to like spook people out for Halloween, and to spook Insigne, they just drew the circle of the penalty kick. That is drawn on the turf. But no, Napoli are looking very very good, and next week they have a big game away at Roma. We
Oof.
shall see Mourinho
Derby della
versus
Sud? Derby della Sud?
Derby del Sud, yeah.
Yeah.
Derby del Sole, actually, they call it also Derby of the Sun, since it's always sunny down there. And so they say, second in place, AC Milan. God damn it! They go down.
Tommy, I thought they were done. I thought they were done. I thought Verona looked incredible first half, and I was like, man, Igor Tudor's getting them playing some fucking beautiful football. That little front four kind of partnership Verona have got looked really, really like threatening and lively, but then Milan just came out second half, didn't they? And it was game over, really. Obviously, handed the win by some of the most calamitous defending I think we've ever seen. But
Well, Jesus Christ, it was right after the Inter game, which we'll cover soon. And I checked the score, and it's 2-0 Verona. And I'm like, all right, if we are going to lose 3-1 at Lazio, well, at least AC Milan are losing 2. And then next time I check the phone, it's 3-2. And when I saw that own goal, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. So this is, in my opinion, a contender for the worst own goal I've ever seen in football. He has no right to put the ball where he does, and to do
no.
it with such cool, like, what the
Yeah.
fuck are you doing, dude? You are surrounded. I mean, you have players of the opposing team around you, and you're touching it towards the goalie. Do you expect him to punt it? He has no space. What are you doing? What the fuck are you
Yeah,
doing?
I don't know why he didn't just put his foot through it into like to put it out for a throw in. I don't understand. It's like when you see the way he moves. It's like when you see a striker kind of cleverly stroke it around the goalkeeper, or like do a little back heel. The way he moves it, and you're like, oh wait, he's the defense. Oh, never mind. That didn't work out, did it?
It was terrifying, and if it wasn't for the Champions League, AC Milan would have had almost a perfect season, because they've drawn against Juventus, and all of the other ones have been wins, except the loss against Liverpool and Atletico Madrid. So Pioli has definitely done something big at AC Milan. They play with personality. The first half, I heard they were in shambles. I watched the highlights, but the AC Milan fans on WhatsApp, my friends, were freaking out. But then they said overall that their general comment was, we won a very, very tough game. We've had to deal with a lot of absences. Theo Hernandez was not playing. Magnan is out for 10 weeks. Ibrahimovic was out injured. There was a super long list of AC Milan players who missed out. Castillejo, who never plays. And I got him in fantasy football, and he will never play in my fantasy football team. But he was the man of the match. He was by far the best player. He was awarded penalty, which then Kessie converted. And AC Milan have done this already quite a few times this season. They come back even when they're down, and they really seem to have a strong drive, a strong desire to win. Now, their next fixtures, it's Porto tomorrow night in the Champions League, and then we've got Bologna, Torino, and Roma. And I wouldn't be surprised if in Serie A, I don't know about the Champions League, I think they could win against Porto, but I think that in Serie A, the games against Bologna and Torino should be another 6 points for the Rossoneri, who are really the only team keeping up with Napoli up there.
Yeah, well, they do seem like to have that kind of grit at the moment to just get these results. I think Torino are starting to look fairly decent. Maybe they could give Milan a game, but I think, yeah, you'd expect them to win both of those. I just wanted to give you a quote from Castillejo as you accidentally bought him on fantasy football. And I thought it was quite a nice quote. So, my tears say it all. After what I've been through, and I'm still going through now, I'm someone who gives my entire soul on the pitch. Yesterday, nobody wanted me, not even my mother. And today I can celebrate with the fans in my home. I quite like that quote.
It's all right. Good for you, Castillejo. I will definitely reconsider your starting position in my fantasy football team, which very quickly, Rory, unless something crazy happens tonight, you've won this one. You are either second or third in the standings, and I'm second,
I'm
probably,
getting
if I do win
nosebleeds,
this.
man. I'm getting nosebleeds. Like for,
Oh, it's
for
way too high.
listeners,
It's way
I
too
am
high.
always bottom. I'm like rooted bottom of the table. Like I'm getting nosebleeds. I'll be
No,
honest.
no, no. You've made some very good decisions. One of which was purchasing and fielding Ivan Perisic, who had a very good game for Inter Milan at Lazio. However, oh my God, Inter! You know what I hate about this? Of course, the scoreline was Lazio 3, Inter 1. You know what I hate about this? The fact that Inter Milan fans and Lazio fans, they have this like brotherhood going,
Mm-hmm.
that like you will hear throughout the game them singing the same chants against Roma or against AC Milan, them singing songs for each other like you guys are great, oh you guys are great, and in the meantime all fucking hell breaks loose and it's always at the fucking Olimpico against the Lazio. Like there is, I don't think in the history of gemellaggi, of these brotherhoods that we have between clubs in Italy, there is one where one of the smaller team of the two has fucked the bigger one over and over again, repeatedly, year after year. This is fucking Lazio for you, ladies
Beat
and
them to
gentlemen.
Champions League. You did beat them to Champions League qualification on the last day of the
Yes,
season. Like you've had
yes,
your moments.
yes. We've had our moments, but then this stuff happens. Look, I think I think it's annoying. Number one, I don't think there should be any controversies about the goal that was scored by Lazio.
No.
I think that Di Marco had a bit of an easy fall, and especially waited until Martini shot on target to then fall down. It's not super classy from Lazio players to not even question stopping the action,
But the,
stopping the play. But in the end, it happens, and I think that Dumfries overreacted a little bit.
But I also
Um,
think, sorry, this is the moment where Inter also played on with that guy on the pitch, with that guy down. Inter decided to continue the attack, and I think at that point Lazio have every right to continue. If you've had the chance to not put the ball out, and you haven't, then why should Lazio? I think they're completely non-issue there for me.
Our friend Massimo is saying Lautaro and Dumfries didn't beat him up enough. Come on, Massimo, we're football fans. There is no place for this type of stuff on a football pitch. Look, talking about the football before we get to the final whistle, which was hilarious in my opinion, I'm a little worried about our goals for the season because what I'm saying is this: if we get two games wrong in a row, things might change very
Mhm.
quickly. Juventus are already only 3 points behind us, and we'll cover that too. But it's looking like if you slip, you're going to be engulfed by the dust raised by the teams that will overtake you. And it's looking a little scary. A lot of teams are looking confident, they're looking solid in the standings, and Inter Milan keep conceding way too many goals. We keep going down. It's difficult, and the difficult thing. Well, this time there was the attenuante, we would say in Italian, that a lot of the players had just come back
Mhm.
from their national team, international travel. Lautaro Martinez, notably, got to play only 45 minutes of the game. So it was a difficult one. It's our first defeat in Serie A this season. We shouldn't panic too much. But right now we've got Sheriff at home tomorrow night. We're going. Then we've got Juventus next week. It's going to be a big one. I mean, on Sunday night we've got them at the San Siro, and then Empoli and Udinese. And I think that we should get away from these four games with at least 9 points. 9 points is the least that we can get out of these four games. If we don't get those 9 points slash 10, then I would worry a little bit.
Yeah, I as I reminded you before, I think you've got more points at this stage of the season than you did at this stage of last season. So I think it's not like panic stations yet. The one thing that would worry me is if it does take a downward turn, would Inzaghi be able to turn it around quickly enough? I think with Conte tended to fix it quite quickly, whereas I think I would worry whether Inzaghi would be capable of doing that.
True. Yeah, and definitely that has also an influence on the way I see the situation at Inter. Is that as much as I'm liking what Inzaghi is doing, and I think he's a very capable coach, when you've got Conte, you always have even when you're feeling very down, you're feeling very negative and pessimistic, you've got that voice in the back of your head that tells you, dude, it's Conte. He knows what he's doing very well. Inzaghi, I still have to see his personality at Inter when it matters the most. It's one loss. As you said, it's not panic station yet, but definitely there is a little alarm ringing, at least for me, especially about the defense. We cannot keep conceding so many goals under Conte.
This
I
is
don't
it.
think we ever conceded the 3 in one game.
No,
You say?
no, I don't. Yeah, I'd have to check, but it doesn't. From memory, I don't think you did. I feel like the second goal where Handanovic just palms it straight into the path of Felipe Anderson.
Yeah, the defense was terrible there.
Yeah, the defense was nowhere. It was also terrible goalkeeping. It was just like this whole thing together. And you're like, why was there not another centre back covering? Like Felipe Anderson had so much time to run onto that ball, and you're like, okay, yeah, there's some disorganization here, or there's something not quite working.
Yeah.
But Lazio were like so schizophrenic. Like
It is
they
a
get battered
frustrating
3-0
team to
by
play against.
Bologna and then put in a performance like that, and you're like, who is this team? Like, what are they? I don't know.
The first half, I think Inter had the control of the game, but it was a very exciting game. I had a lot of fun watching
It was a great game.
A lot of counterattack, very fast for all the people that course Serie A, like slow league or whatever. It was actually a very exciting game. Too bad that Inter absolutely lost it when we got scored against on the penalty spot. A very ingenuous, you could say, naive foul by Bastoni, who just jumps with his hand open, and it was a rightful penalty.
Yeah.
And then at the end, what do you think about Luis Felipe just jumping on top of Joaquin Correa, ex-teammate, to celebrate his team's, like your friend's new team's loss? You jump on him to celebrate. That was kind of funny, and Correa kind of lost it. I think that they were both just like in two very different moods, and you don't do that. You don't push somebody's buttons in those moments.
No, I think, as you said, the whole game was like this pressure bottle thing that was like, it was just little fights, little kind of like niggly tackles, and it was building. And towards the end, it all just kicked off, right? And I think that was just like the crowning moment. I think, look, last week I was like praising the new levels of shithousery that we're seeing. So I feel I can't start slagging it off the second it's against Inter. So I feel like I have to praise him on one hand and say, yeah, good shithousing. But also, if I was Correa, I probably would have swung for him as well. What really made me kind of confused was the fact that the Felipe started crying once he'd been sent off, and like crying quite heavily.
That was the thing that was the thing that struck me, that made me tell you the comparison off mic earlier of a little kid. You know, a little kid that gets too excited, he does something, and then the teacher punishes him, and he's like, oh, I didn't want to do it. You're just like, man, holy shit, you were really feeling this game. But let's move on, because we've got a lot to cover still, especially in the Premier League. Juventus, or actually Juventus-Roma, 1-0. Jesus, that was bad. Juventus just like get another win, and they've really turned their form around. Ever since their loss at Napoli, let me double check, they have won 6 out of 7 games, and they've really turned their form around. Now, their last 3 scorelines, 1-0, 0-1, 1-0. And I just read a stat today that 22% of Max Allegri's wins at Juventus were all 1-0. So I think he's finally understood what this team needs, which is scoring 1 goal per game and then trying your best not to get scored against. It's effective. Juventus fans at this stage in the season, after such a bad start, they just want to see their team escalating the standings. I think Allegri has found what he needs. Juventus also get very lucky, as Ruairi is going to underline right now.
I can't handle it anymore. I just can't handle how Juventus get everything going their way constantly. They never get anything that goes against them. And I've had to argue with Juve fans about this who are convinced that people are out to get them and try not to laugh in their face. Like the Orsato, the referee, we know is a character and he
Mhm.
kind of does what he likes.
Yeah.
There's a reason why he doesn't referee Champions League games. I'm pretty sure he's not called up by UEFA. Now the goal, so there was two Roma players fouled, Abraham and Mkhitaryan, but somehow they managed to get the ball into the back of the net. Rather than play advantage, he pulls play back and he gives a penalty. Now I talked to a Juventus fan about this, a friend like over the weekend, and he was like, "Well, how can it be anti-Juventus? He gave the penalty." And I had to try and explain to him how the fact that there was a possibility he could miss a penalty, which he obviously did, whereas the goal, there was no possibility he could miss the goal that had already gone in. The logic wasn't really getting through to him. I feel like Juve just constantly get the rub of the green, constantly. And at the same hand, I was obviously, as regular listeners will also be aware, Roma were always my Italian team. I do like to keep an eye out for Roma. And the whole time I just thought, Christ, this must be the most frustrating team to support in the world. They just can't help themselves. At any time they need to help themselves, they just shit the bed massively. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, fucking hell. Again. How? Like, it's
So
insane.
first thing, a very funny very funny fake news that I saw earlier on social media about Orsato, the referee for this game. It said Orsato was so terribly confused at the end of the game that he apparently awarded 2 free throws for Juventus. Like in basketball. I really, really like that one. But the thing is this one, Roy. I have to say that Orsato, to his defense, he blew the whistle before the ball went in. But not
He
on the
blew the
first
whistle.
foul,
Right.
on the second foul. Right when the ball is going, like the ball is up and he blows the whistle.
But the
And then the
ball's
ball goes
going
in.
into the net. It's going into the net.
But the other thing that I read that is also an interesting thing. So you know when referees make players retake the penalty because somebody
Right.
stormed the box, when that happens, makes me furious because that always happens.
Yeah.
There are always players in the box before the penalty taker touches the ball, and so it pisses me off. But yesterday it was very clear that 4 players were in the box, and so it's just like the real scandal. This page that tries to be really impartial was saying to me, I don't support neither Roma nor Juve, but this is the real scandal because the referee clearly sees it. It's very obvious, more than it usually is, but it doesn't say anything. People didn't even notice it. Again, no, and another thing that I wanted to say is to all Juventus fans who've spit on Wojciech Chesney's name
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning of the season, how quickly you motherfuckers forgot, and how quickly you have to, dude, I don't even want to get started. That was just like the scapegoat. Oh, everything is going bad because of Chesney. No, it was going bad because you all were sucking dick.
Yeah.
And right now, if you are where you are, it's also because of Chesney. So really be thankful for what you have, rather than not. And the Roma, I have to say, Roma, just the fact that Zaniolo went out injured after 25 minutes, it's just all so Roma. They
It
lose the
is.
game 1-0. They missed the
Yeah.
penalty. The player is injured after 25 minutes. It's absolutely ridiculous.
And they're actually playing some really nice football, Roma. They play some great stuff. They play some exciting football. You're like, this is a good team. They've got Veretout, they've got Abraham, some really exciting players. And you're like, they just still can't quite get there. But there was one more story that came out about Orsato. Apparently, he turned around to the Roma players at halftime and asked if it was his fault that they missed the penalty. Holy fuck, how did that guy not get put on his ass? What the fuck?
And the hopeless wanderer is saying, which is the issue, referring to what I was saying. He blew the whistle before he saw the play end. Ref was in the wrong. Now, about refereeing, you listeners will know that I'm not very knowledgeable. And I've read kind of contrasting things today on social media about whether you should let the play end or not.
Mm-hmm.
And there is this idiom that I keep reading, which is to the referee's discretion. So we've got all these tools, VARs, control rooms. Arsene Wenger says that soon the offside rule is going to be automatized. Uh, but
Yeah.
but then it's always to the referee's discretion. So I don't really know what that means. And finally, Atalanta get a very convincing win against Empoli 4-1. They're also picking up form. We're going to talk about United and then cover also their Champions League fixture this week. Rory, what have we got in the Premier League? Also, of course, by the time you're listening to this on any other day of the week, which is not a Monday, you will know the result of Venezia Fiorentina, which is going to be played in 15 minutes. Rory, off to you in England.
Off to the Premier League, and it started with Claudio Ranieri triumphantly waltzing back into the Premier League to get his arse handed to him in a 5-0 defeat. And I saw I saw the pass map from Watford, right? And someone tweeted it with, if I saw this on Football Manager, I would send it to them as a bug. Like, it was ridiculous. Watford were nowhere near it, and Liverpool are looking absolutely terrifying. Mohamed Salah needs to stop it. He is ruining careers. That goal was absolutely glorious. I saw a super slow-mo of it. It's like a 3-minute video of that one goal. The drag back that he does that removes like 3 defenders and then the cut inside. It's just, that guy is like, well, he's hands down the best player in the Premier League at the moment. There's people saying he might be the best player in the world at the moment. And I think he could be hitting, is he at his peak Liverpool performances again? Or is this the best we've ever seen him? I'm not sure. What do you think?
I don't know. That goal is insane. Didn't it give you very strong Messi vibes? Like peak Messi vibes? Like literally dragging defenders. Like it's like a magnet that attracts defenders, but it can, wave them off whenever it wants.
It like attracts and repels, right? He just flips
Yeah, exactly.
the magnet and it goes.
Man, it was incredible. And how quickly he makes the decision of taking a shot is incredible. Because at first, he doesn't really have the room. Then he's got finally a window of space. And he just instantly makes the decision, hits the ball, it's in. He's matched Didier Drogba, the most prolific African goal scorer in the Premier League ever. Is he at his best? I feel like he's been at his best in multiple occasions already.
Yeah.
Is this a better best than the previous? It might as well be. It's incredible. And Liverpool are still the only undefeated team in the Premier League. And quietly, silently, just like our friend Chris, whom we've recently talked to, big time Liverpool fan, they are there. They're not, they're there. They're not going absolutely anywhere. And they're looking threatening. They're looking absolutely threatening.
They are. They look like they're really up for it. And I think the fact that people aren't really talking about them, although people starting until the season started, I think is really working in their favor. They're a little bit like under the radar, but I think people are starting to realize that they're really clicking into motion again. There's a great moment in that goal where I'm not sure who the defender is, but as Salah cuts inside, the guy obviously slides away, and you see him halfway through the slide just go like, oh, and you see him like as he's sliding, just like, fuck.
No.
It is beautiful. But yeah, Liverpool are looking absolutely unstoppable, but raised by Hopeless Wanderer is the only thing that can stop them AFCON. Now, I think much like Napoli, they need to get all of their wins while they can.
Man, AFCON is going to be nuts for Liverpool. Salah and Mane gone on the plane.
Keita.
And Keita. I can imagine like Liverpool fans at the airport like waving them off with a white cloth. Like, no, you guys.
Well, it's like you talked about. At least in Naples, they do all their like curses and voodoo and stuff to try and get them sent off, get them like disqualified. I don't know what people in Liverpool do.
But I was saying, I was thinking of one thing after I said that thing about Napoli having voodoo things and everything. I was like, can their jinxes match like real African jinxes? Like talking about black magic and all that. I was just like, oh, maybe the Neapolitan with his like red bell pepper is not going to go fucking anywhere. Like when I unleash a 1,000-year-old ghost against you. But no, man, Liverpool are impressive and I like their attitude. This summer they were very silent on the transfer market. But then the team is there. Like Klopp is a manager that you should not sleep on, and he's really started a legacy at Liverpool, and it's going great. And I'm very happy for them, honestly.
Well, this is yeah. I think look, not the way like the football Liverpool play. Everybody loves Klopp. I think it's good to see them like in a title challenge again. And yeah, Firmino and Origi leading the line. Look, Firmino got a hat trick. He's never the most prolific when it comes to goals, but if they can get him a bit more consistent with his goal scoring, he could definitely fill in the gap. Origi will only ever score the goals that are like cup final winners or 89th minute winners, but they'll be like 5 a season. So, who knows? Maybe he'll be key, but I think they are going to miss Mane and Salah going that's huge. That is huge. Will they have to bring someone in January? I don't know. It just seems like they're the two biggest players for Liverpool. Like they are their two biggest players.
Do you think that Jorginho Wijnaldum, who's been recently saying that he feels mistreated at PSG, is looking back like, I shouldn't have?
He seems to be playing that tune a lot. He said he was mistreated at Liverpool as well. I don't know. Maybe he's just like not the easiest to deal with. I don't know. Like
he would be a terrible girlfriend to have Jorginho Wijnaldum. I don't know. I just don't feel like you're doing enough for me. I just
just this diva sat in the corner. So I don't know. But anyway, for Liverpool, things look pretty bright and they are battering teams again. So they are definitely on their way. At the top of the table, just 1 point ahead of them, though, we have Chelsea, and they had what the pundits would say the win of a champion, right? You win a game that you don't deserve to win, and that's the true mark of a champion, right? They were absolutely battered by Brentford, and Edouard Mendy was pulling out all the stops to keep a clean sheet. And his record at the moment, he is like, we've talked about him before, but the way he's changed that team since he's come in has been incredible from when they had Kepa.
Mm-hmm.
Like just the assuredness he brings. But the talking point here, and I thought it was a bit of a non-argument, but Chelsea fans really took umbrage to it. Paul Scholes pointed out, because Mendy got man of the match, and Paul Scholes pointed out that, well, if your goalkeeper got man of the match, it usually means that you didn't play that well and your defense wasn't that good. And Chelsea fans got really upset about this. But I think that's absolutely nail on the head, right? If your goalkeeper gets man of the match, there's no way you could have played well, right?
No, and I think that there is definitely an argument for Mendy being one of the top goalkeepers at the moment, because his stats are insane. I still want to do that specific, like a goalkeeper episode, where we can look at also how to assess how good a goalkeeper is with statistics. But his numbers are incredible, and Chelsea concede very few goals, but they get shot against quite a lot. So definitely, it goes when it's like that. It's to praise the goalkeeper, definitely.
And I'm going to connect this to Arsenal, obviously, but the only team to have more possession against Brentford so far this season was Arsenal, even though we lost 2-0. So technically, we win. Technically, we win. I think that's another 3 points in the column. But
also, what's happened to that guy who claimed he was the king of Milan and then left? What happened to him? I haven't heard him read his name in the score sheet for a while.
It feels like he only came to the Premier League to score against Arsenal. That was like his one purpose was like, I'm going to turn up, score against Arsenal, and then sod off. It's 6 games now without a goal for Romelu, and this is where we go back, and I think we said this throughout him being at Inter as well. This is where we go back to just how much of a confidence player he is, and how much like he needs to believe that he's the best. He needs to see that he's killing it. And if that starts to fade away, I think he starts to disappear. And with Chelsea now, with Werner being Werner, if Lukaku starts to pick up Werneritis or whatever it is, they could really
Werneritis.
really be in trouble if they start getting 2 miss-hitting strikers. Because who have they got after that? I don't know. Who's their other striker?
Look,
off the top of my head?
You're right. You're right. Lukaku is a big time confidence player, and I think that it's really hard to change manager, but going from Conte to any other manager is very difficult. And when you move to another league where you haven't played in a few years, and you're supposed to be carrying the weight of that team on your shoulders. It's tough, man. It's not that easy. And he's a confidence player, and Conte is a person that you can read the Lukaku's quotes on quotes. They're everywhere about any aspect of his life. It was like my phone was constantly ringing with Conte asking me how I was doing, or like after dinner calling me to make sure I had understood the tactical aspects of tomorrow's game. It's just like when you have a person that is so much behind you, it's difficult to go to anybody else, I
Mm-hmm.
think. And also, I feel like in tell me if you agree with this or not. I was thinking about this earlier. Why Lukaku is not scoring as much? I feel like there is more flair in, like we're more pragmatic, maybe, with Italian football,
Okay.
while flair is more accepted in England. And I feel like teams like Chelsea, they've got a lot of talented players that would want to take the spotlight and can take the spotlight. And they don't think that there is that commitment to really play for one player to score, which
Mm.
is what Inter definitely had with Lukaku and Lautaro Martinez up front.
Yeah, no, I think that's a massive fair point. I don't think they've like built the team around him like Inter did. Look, he had a run of a few like big games where he kind of went missing, and he just needs one to go in, and then he'll be back on form. But you can just see how much confidence means, like how much confidence drives his performances. For Chelsea, look, they're not going to be too upset. They're still top of the table. They got a win that they definitely didn't deserve. They've won 4 of their last 5. Like, they're still massively in the conversation, but they will be staring over their shoulder as Liverpool and Man City slowly start to be sliding into gear, as Man City get another 2-0, another easy kind of comfortable win against Burnley, 2-0 at home. They are now only 2 points behind Chelsea. And I think there we have the 3 teams that are going to be racing for the title, because the other team who were including themselves in the title race, but may have done it a bit too early, managed to put in an
Ooh.
absolute shit show
At
away.
first, at first, I thought we were going to talk about Brighton, and then I was like, no, why would he slag them off like that? Of course, it's United, right?
Of course it's United. I'm getting my agenda out and I am loving it. I honestly, there's very few things better in life than watching United lose. But watching them lose in that manner of just the complete, like, I've said it so many times, just what I saw a tweet that was like, what do they do during the week? Do they just like play tug of war and like connect 4? Because they're not playing football. Like, there is no coaching, there is no system, there is no like nothing. It's just Greenwood has to bang one in for them to do anything. Like, these moments of brilliance from people are what have got them through games, and now they're running out. Like, even Paul Pogba, the stats on his performance are absolutely shocking. So he came out after the game. Now, I don't want to sound all Graham Souness now, right?
Yeah,
But
right. Because we were praising him after 3 games in the Premier League at the beginning of the season as well.
exactly, we were giving him his dues, but now he's come out and said after the game, we need to find the problem, right? We need to find the problem in the squad. Now, this was his performance: 0 tackles, 0 shots on target, 1 key pass, 6 fouls committed, dribbled past 3 times, lost possession 12 times, 0% take on success, and 15% ground duels won. So 2 out of 15. The guy did nothing.
Jesus.
And if he is meant to be the linchpin of that midfield, then you've got a 39-year-old Matic getting run around and McTominay around him just panicking. It's like, just the ease that teams walk through their midfield is just baffling. And then they've got a defense where, like, the Vardy goal is a beautiful goal, right? Beautiful finish from Vardy.
Holy fuck.
But United have just scored, right? Leicester have just kicked off. All the defense need to do is just hold their shape, keep calm for a couple of minutes, and you can get the game back on. I think it's Castagna runs out with the ball, and Wan-Bissaka just barrels into him for no reason. Like, there's no danger there. Flies into him. The ball goes loose. Perez gets the ball. McTominay all of a sudden is isolated in defense, and the ball goes across to Vardy. It's like that complete lack of discipline, or that lack of, like, here's the system, here's the shape, just sums up what United are at the moment. And then before we even get on to Maguire's performance, which a lot of like, he's just come back from injury. He was rushed back. Christ alive. Like, to give the ball away for the Tielemans goal, to give the corner away under no pressure whatsoever, to play Soyuncu on the side, and then just let Daka walk in and score a goal. It's like, that is a bad day by anyone's standards. And I think Maguire does have a propensity to put in these performances.
Our friend Joe Spagnoli is saying on the chat live on Twitch, are we thinking that Ronaldo perhaps wasn't the defensive midfielder they needed? Look, bro, he's not a defensive midfielder. Holy
Ronaldo's
shit,
the
yeah.
GOAT. He can do anything, mate. He can do it all.
Dude, you wish you were like Ronaldo, dude. Did you see his wife? Yeah, that.
But I don't know. I think Ollie has managed to do something impressive by managing to get Ronaldo to stop scoring goals. So fair play to him for that. But I think, yeah, Ronaldo was definitely not what they needed, not what they should have gone for. It just nothing about that move made sense, apart from the fact they were getting worried that he might sign for City. I still insist that City kind of played them a little bit there, and they were like, "Oh fuck, we've got to sign him quick." And then, no,
well, if City did
they can
play them, if City did play them dirty like that, I think it would be absolutely incredible. Like it would be an incredible story to tell your grandchildren. I'll tell you about the time we made United by Ronaldo by pretending we were going to purchase him. Yeah, that would be great.
But for Leicester, we need to say it was a great performance. Tielemans, absolutely beautiful finish, and I insist he did mean it. I need to believe he meant that goal. I need to believe he meant it. The Vardy finish, I've watched it a million times already, and Patson Daka, FM legend, first Zambian to ever score in the Premier League. I'm really looking forward to him getting a few more opportunities at Leicester. I think he's going to be such a great striker for them. So yeah, Leicester, after a kind of struggling start to the season, or kind of a bit of a less than impressive start to the season, get a huge marquee win. So that's their first win in 4 or 5 games, right? That's a big marquee win for them to be able to build on now. And even players like James Maddison, who's kind of been out of form and the fans have been slagging him off a bit, put in a hell of a performance. So I think maybe things will be getting a bit better down at the Leicester Stadium. So I can't remember what it's called. King Power. There we go.
King Power Stadium.
Yeah, there
King
you
Power
go.
Stadium.
So that was a great win. But for Ollie, now we had a question from Andrew McBride, friend of the show from the Hopeless Wanderer pod. Tommy, how scared should they be of Atalanta?
Look, Atalanta are not the Atalanta we've seen over the past years. They had a good game against Empoli, but it's Empoli again. They score less than in the previous years, and they concede more. So this is something that Oli, or whoever else is coaching the team, should take note of. They're not as solid as they were last year, 2 years ago. However, they're still Atalanta, and they can play an offensive game of football. They are a very Premier League-like Serie A team. Like, they like to play with their wings. They're fast. They recover very quickly. They rebuild their shape. They are composed most of the time, and they have a solid defense too. So I think it's going to be a fight, but I can see United winning, if not comfortably, quite so. What do you think, Rory?
I think United are going to win this, and it'll get Solskjaer that little boost that gives him another 6 months in the job. At least that's what I'm hoping for. So I think I think that's what's going to happen. We shall see, I suppose. I think, yeah, like you said, Atalanta have not been that great this season. So I think United should do it. But would you be surprised if they lost? Not really.
No,
sorry for such a vague answer, but that's
it's a very open. If I had to bet money, I don't know what I would bet. Honestly, on who I would bet. I would bet definitely on both teams to score. Both teams to score.
Yeah,
I think that's for maybe even over 4.5 goals. It could be a goal fest.
That would be nice to see. That would be nice to see. The last game of the weekend we're going to talk about, I think we've just got time,
Rory, keep freezing, but you're back. We love you, bro.
Oh, mate, my internet, my bloody internet. I'm sorry, guys, but we're going to be quickly talking about St. James's Park, the new dawn, which started so brightly for Newcastle United. 2 minutes in, Callum Wilson scores. Of course, it was Callum Wilson. And you're thinking, oh, right, they're on it. And then it all just falls apart around their ears. Now, we have to just quickly say that we hope the fan who was rushed to hospital, we hope everything is fine. Absolute, like, all of our respect to the fan who started CPR, the Tottenham players who pointed out that they needed help. The defibrillator was got so quickly. It really did show why it's so important that defibrillators are at every football ground in the country. Like, that is the exact reason why. And, like, just a scary moment, but great to see it go well.
props to the guy who runs the metrics for always placing a doctor when needed. I've never been in a situation where a doctor was needed and there was not a doctor. There is always a doctor when you need a doctor. It's fucking incredible. So no, jokes aside, it was beautiful, and I really liked. I saw the picture, and then I went looking up online the actual footage of what happened. The Reguilon really concerned, like stopping to play, like looking intensely and calling the ref. That was very interesting. And I don't really have the perspective of being a football player in a football pitch in such a busy stadium, but being able to understand that something this serious is going on in the stands, it means that, I don't know, you have very good vision or you're really aware of your surroundings. I was impressed.
Yeah, I thought that. Like, how would you even notice it when you've got 58,000 people around you screaming and shouting? Like, how would you even notice? But there was like slight reports of like, I don't know, Nuno complaining that the game was being stopped, and there was, I don't know, there's a few things. But I think fair play to the Tottenham players for sorting that so quickly and for the fans reacting so well. Of course hope that the fan is okay and he's back at St James's Park before we know it. Let's get back to the football, though. Not all the Newcastle fans covered themselves in glory. I was frankly embarrassed to see the amount of people that had tea towels on their head, dressed as Saudis, waving Saudi Arabian flags. Just embarrassing. Just no other word for it. I just thought, and what there was a picture of like a dad with his son, and they were dressed up as Arabs, right? And I thought, when I was going to the football with my dad, I came home and he was like, Rory, we're going to the football. Quick, put your tea towel on and your fake beard. I would have been like, Dad, has mum left you? Like, what's going on? Are you having a breakdown? Like, can you imagine that being your dad? Yeah. Can you imagine your dad being like that? Like, these are fully grown men. Like, what are you doing? So I was embarrassed to see that. Like, people have been moaning about Newcastle fans for not being upset enough about their owners. Look, we've said it before.
They don't look upset at fucking all.
No, you're perfect waving Saudi Arabian flags. Like, there's a difference, right? And I think it was just a lot of it was very classless. I ended up getting in an argument on Twitter with a Newcastle fan, so that was fun.
Oh, you got in an argument on Twitter, Rory?
I know, yeah. This guy was really pissing me off. His name was Steve Smith, like the Australia cricket captain. That definitely made me angry as well. But he was calling me all sorts. And it was a fun way to pass a Sunday afternoon with the missus. She was like, why do you keep going on your phone? Why are you swearing? There's some prick on the other side of the planet's calling me a wanker. One more tweet and I'll change his mind, I promise. Like, it was
6 days later.
Yeah. But to the actual game, Tottenham looked the best they've looked ever, but against a very poor Newcastle team. John Joe Shelby came on and was sent off, I think, 20 minutes later. But the player that really stood out for me for Tottenham was Ndombele. Now, this guy, if he can find any form of consistency, they've got one of the best midfielders in the Premier League there. That guy is unbelievable. But he just drops 1 in 5. Like,
and I want to. Do you know how old he is? I want to check quickly because I think he's younger than what people think. Ndombele. He kind
22?
of 22. Really? I feel like who was the manager that never played in at Tottenham? Was it Mourinho? Yeah. Oh, let me guess.
He got in trouble during lockdown for giving him extra fitness lessons in the park. He's 24 years old.
24, yeah. He's still very young. He's been at Tottenham for a while, but he's still very young. He's their most expensive signing of all time. Yeah, correct. And I think he still has plenty of time to make a statement, plenty of time to shine.
There was a point during a break in play where he did a rainbow flick over the referee as well, which is just what you love to see. What you love to see. Nice. So he was outstanding. Harry Kane scored a beautiful goal, some nice, really good forward movement to make that run, and just a little kind of clip over the goalkeeper. Really beautiful goal. And maybe Harry is going to be a bit more interested, although he does always have quite slow starts to the season. But for Newcastle, I said it in the last episode, this takeover could really be like, this is the first time a team has been taken over halfway through the season, right, with like a big amount of money. And it's the first time a team this bad has been taken over by a consortium with this amount of money, right? Chelsea, when they were bought, had just got into the Champions League. City, when they were bought, had been relatively kind of successful for a few years, like, not winning anything, but getting top 6, etc. for them to take over a relegated team without any chance to improve the team immediately, I think like the way they're playing, they could be basically relegated by January. And by that point, like even if they sack Steve Bruce now, is that going to make a massive difference if they score out of it? But the squad is so bad. The squad is so bad. They've got Callum Wilson, who is great when he can play, but he's injured 6 out of 10 games. And they've got Sam Maximan, who can't do it all on his own. So it's like, it just feels like, I feel like this takeover could be a real problem for the next couple of months because Newcastle aren't getting better anytime soon.
Just wait till they buy Mauro Icardi, as we said at the beginning of the show. But also, one thing that I'm sure you didn't put in your notes about the Premier League, the goal has stalled in the skies of southeastern England. The goal is still up there, but it's not really advancing. You know, when they're flying against the wind.
Yeah.
That's Brighton and Hove Albion right now. Guys, I wasn't used to seeing 2 gray boxes on my football app in a row. 2 0-0s. I'm sure Mopay and the boys will pick it up again soon. But yeah, we're a Brighton and Hove Albion friendly podcast.
They're still fourth, and I think they should have had a penalty. Norwich should have scored. Is it Josh Sargent for them? Kind of had an open goal and decided that to not hit it that hard, which is kind of alternative choice, I suppose. So I had the opportunity to win the game for Norwich, but passed it up. I think, look, Brighton, if they can get 7th, that would be an unbelievable season for them. I just worry that Mopay isn't prolific. He's not prolific, and he's a wanker, but he's also not prolific.
I really like. He brings a lot of shithousery to the football pitch, and I love that. Ladies and gentlemen, as Fiorentina and Venezia are playing each other, and Arsenal are warming up to take on Crystal Palace, let's go, boys. It's time to discuss very rapidly the champions, because tomorrow night at the San Siro, Ruairi and I are going to be watching Inter Sheriff, and I am worried about it. So I told my friend Michael, we were having conversations about the game. Are you excited? Yes, I'm excited. I'm shitting my pants a little bit. And he goes, why are you shitting your pants? And I said, I don't know, man. Sheriff have won 2 out of 2. And he said, it's just ridiculous that they could win at the San Siro. And when he said that, I was like, all right, if it's that ridiculous, if they win at the San Siro, you have to promise me that for the entire walk/ride back home, you have to giggle and you can never stop. So I've got this bet going with my friend Michael. Ruairi, why are you coming to the stadium? Tell me the truth. Are you coming to support Inter Milan, or are you coming to witness history or some bullshit like that?
No, I am coming. I've told you, Tommy, we discussed it on Friday. I said, I want to see Inter get out of a fucking group stage of a Champions League tournament. That's all I want. I want Inter to finally do it. I've been here 5 bloody years and they've not done it. Not once.
Yeah. Exactly. So hopefully it's the right moment. Shakhtar Donetsk take on Real Madrid, and the other big games for tomorrow night are PSG Leipzig, Atletico Madrid Liverpool, Porto AC Milan. Will AC Milan manage to get their very first Champions League points? We've got also quite of a hipster's choice. Ajax Dortmund, and on Wednesday night, Barcelona Dynamo Kiev. Ruairi is saying this is the game to watch. Will Barcelona manage to shoot on target? Will they manage to get any points? He thinks not. Benfica take on Bayern Munich, and then another Anglo-Italian fixture as Manchester United take on Atalanta. We've also got Lille Sevilla and the Zenit St. Petersburg Juventus. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've covered everything. Roddy, anything else to add?
Come on, Arsenal. We need to win tonight. If we win tonight and we beat Villa, we're in the top 4 for the first time since 2019. So let's go, boys, please. Let's go.
Holy shit. Well, good luck, Arsenal. Remember to follow us on Instagram at Anglo-Italian Pod, on Twitter at Italian Anglo Pod. And finally, check out our sponsor at Sports Club Maps. We will talk to you next on Friday. Have a good one, people. Thank you for joining us.